Hello, stamping friends. Today I'm going to show you how to make this card, which I think turned out pretty good. It's found in the January to April mini catalog, so it's 2023. It's almost done. It's called Perfectly Detailed. It's on page 24. And in the catalog, they show a lot of fun ways that you can use if you like to do fussy cutting, which I don't. So I thought of some other ways to use it, and this was one that I want to show you today. So let's get started. The stamp, it's just one singular stamp that fits on our big block here. And a couple of tips on that. It is really hard to get it on evenly on 5.5 by 4 1/4, which is our typical card size. So I found that you can cut it 5 5/8, which is a little past 5.5, and 4 1/4, and that will still fit in our invitation envelopes, our regular size. So that's just one little tip. Cut it a little larger, which I actually didn't do on mine, so you can see a little bit of the bottom had to be off. So this is, I'm going to do this using clear embossing powder, and most of you know how to do heat embossing, so I'm not going to go through that. If you don't, you can find lots of tutorials on it. Basically what you do is you ink up your stamp real good with Versamark. Just do that, ink it up real good. And now with a big stamp like this, I would say the best thing to do is to lay your paper down right on top like this, okay? And then here, let's do it with this one so I don't mess that up. Okay, so lay your paper down and see how it just barely fits even with that size, that little slightly larger size. But very important, the first thing you want to do is take your embossing buddy, which we've also got back in the annual catalog. So find that. It's got all the tools you need for heat embossing. And then ink up your real good with Versamark. Flip it over, and then in red, and then press down real good, rubbing all over so you make sure that with all this fine detail you get a nice image, which of course Versamark you can't see. And then of course you just take your embossing powder, shake it on real good, shake it off real good, and use the heat tool to heat emboss. And it looks like this once you've heat. I don't know if you can see how it's really hard to see with that clear embossing, but it does show up. So I'm going to set this aside and get on with the fun part here, and that is I'm going to use 3 different ink colors: Starry Sky, Gorgeous Grape, and Parakeet Party. And you could use any variety of colors. This is kind of a reverse, I guess you'd call it reverse stamping, because what we're going to do is the background's going to show up, and you'll see when I start doing this what happens. See how the image, we're just coloring the background and the image does not take the color, and it's really fun to see how this turns out. It's okay to be a little sloppy because you want to cover all the paper real good. And we'll take the Gorgeous Grape for the center. I've done this with more of a red color, which I like as well. See how that image is just popping out so nicely? And then we'll get the Starry Sky. It's going to be really pretty around the edge. Whoops! Be careful you dip your dauber in the right ink pad. And I'm doing this really fast because I know I don't want to bore you, but I do want you to see how nicely this comes out. Kind of fun to see. And they all turn out just slightly different. What I like about this is it makes a nice card. You just put your sentiment on the inside. Don't really have to. Let's get a little more of that green coming out on the edge. And I did it again, didn't I? Now maybe some of the gorgeous grape a little more. Make sure you see all the detail of this lovely stamp. Okay, the last thing you want to do is take just a cloth. This is just a lens wiping for your glasses cloth, but just a soft cloth, even a paper towel works. You rub real hard so you make sure you get any of the residue that may have clung to your clear stamp. And that's your card. Can you believe how quick that was? And then with this thick white paper, it's all you need. And just put something on the inside for your saying or whatever you want. Now, a couple other things I've done. See how pretty this looks in gold embossed. Another way is, see if you can see this, for like a wedding card. That'd be lovely. Just white. This is white. Embossing, and I've got congratulations here with a couple little pearl hearts. This one, or actually both of these, I believe, are done with chalks, and you know I've kind of been into chalks lately. So I've just put Versamark on here, and then I chalked it, and the chalk colors pick up wherever the Versamark is. So here's one that's a little more detailed. I think I colored in the middle a little. So I hope you'll try that. Get your heat embossing tools out and give it a try.